Thank you very much for having us present today. We're Samsara Vision, a company focused on bringing vision and freedom back to patients who have been blinded by late-stage age-related macular degeneration. We're doing this with a device-based solution, so quite different than the other material that you've heard from other presenters today. Starts with a wonderful team, and I'm just a representative of this fantastic team that's built from those who have deep experience in the industry in clinical, sales, marketing, finance, and our talented board. We're backed by Innovatus Capital Partners who join us here today. Our company highlights in general, we start with a patient base of roughly 11 million patients. We'll talk about those as we go through the presentation. Implantable miniature telescope technology has been implanted in over 750 patients to date, closing in on 800 patients with our lead asset, the smaller incision new generation IMT, where we're commercial in Europe, building commercial aptitude in Greater China, and we've launched our clinical trial or PMA supplement trial in the United States, commenced in June with first patients being surgery performed. China, we've signed a collaborative deal that will start our first patients either July or August with a talented partner with deep experience in ophthalmology. Unique about us is while we're going through a PMA supplement trial in the United States of 100 patients with a 12-month follow-on, we already have established 22,000 plus reimbursement in the United States, and now $18,000 reimbursement in Germany for the procedure, which has been made simpler over time, and you'll see that as we go through the asset. We talked about the team a little bit. The product has about 85 to 90% gross margin with strong patent portfolio. Just talking about the patients, we all know 200 million plus age-related macular degeneration patients today in the world. 11 million of those have progressed to the late stage of the disease, including patients with geographic atrophy secondary to dry AMD, and patients post that have had neovascular AMD that have gone beyond the bleeding stage, maybe 6 months post-bleeding, are now candidates for our technology. In this 11 million patient group, 4 million patients are candidates for our technology on label today, and we have a path for a pseudofake technology that can bring us to over 8 million of these patients. You may have seen the IMT technology in the past. The SING IMT is the offspring of the wide-angle IMT, which was implanted in more than 700 patients. We're off and running with SING IMT technology around the world, closing in on our 100th patient with this new asset. This is in trial in the United States, like I said, but commercial in Europe today. The vision results from IMT implants are stellar, bringing 3 and 4 lines of vision back to patients who had progressed beyond 2160 with strong correlation in quality of life improvements and little regression back to the mean where they started. So this is due to the technology improvement, and you see the 2.7 times magnification of light with the glass material allows for pristine contrast sensitivity at high levels of magnification and a parafoveal centration of light that changes the focal point for the patient, bringing central vision back with the eye with the telescopic implant. This is a monocular implant, and the patient goes through standard cataract surgery in the other eye if needed. If you know a lot about the early technology or the wide-angle IMT, you know it was a challenging surgery. A 12-millimeter incision was required to do the procedure, more than an hour, generally a cornea specialist, cornea surgeon, very talented and experienced cornea surgeon. The patient experienced trauma for 7 to 21 days, and there was 25 to 28% endothelial cell density loss, all of that to get the lines of vision gain that we expressed earlier. Today's SING IMT, we see a much smaller incision at 6.5 millimeters, only 3 sutures post-op, and then less than 30 minutes. In fact, I've been in many of these procedures in Europe, and we're averaging 28 minutes or less, with the fastest being 12 minutes. Standard phacoemulsification procedure with 3 sutures post-op. What I've been most impressed by, for me, is the patient wow factor, the 1 to 3 days post-op where the patients are coming back in and expressing that they can see things again. We heard a story last week, a 1-day post-op, a patient was pointing at at family members and calling out names while crying. I think that's why everybody in this room goes to work in the morning, to see stories like that. And for these patients who have been pushed to the end of the disease, bringing vision back is a remarkable phenomenon. We'll talk about those patient stories soon. Endothelial cell density loss is now reduced down under 8%. We average 7.8% in clinical patients in Europe. So we're confident that we've got a technology that minimizes the trauma, enhances the surgeon experience, but still brings that 3 to 4 lines of vision back to patients that have lost so much. Here we're going to see a sped up procedure. I know everybody likes to watch surgical videos. For those of you who don't, there's a cartoon on top, but this is a standard phacoemulsification procedure with a marked 6.5 millimeter incision for delivery. This was Professor Vichila's first case. So here's the cornea lift, real easy, with the inserter delivered into the wound. Again, first case. And you can see many of these videos either on our website. Now we've got iTube videos loaded, and the surgeons are uploading their videos on YouTube as well. So we've got quite a bit of an exposure for the new procedure. You'll see the delivery coming here, really easy syringe delivery through a standard 5.5 millimeter capsular excess. And here we see there's just that haptic just needs a slight tuck here. You'll see it in a moment. Again, first procedure, most don't include this, but I wanted to show a cool case with a good video. Little tap, and the lens falls in place. Again, 28 minutes, and you have basically a standard phaco procedure. What really gets us, and I encourage you to take your phones and take a picture of this QR code. You'll be sent to our LinkedIn page where you can see this 3-minute video in its entirety. These three patients are 3 great patient stories, but some of my favorite. The gentleman on the top left, as you can see, used the pre-procedure external telescopic simulator device, and that device showed that he brought 5 lines of vision back pre-op, and he asked, can I get the surgery today? That was repeated in Erie, Pennsylvania last week, so great patient stories. I would encourage you to watch that video soon. Talking about reimbursement here again, we talked about the $18,000 in Germany that we've just kicked off, but in the United States, here's our reimbursement picture where in the ambulatory surgical center, this is a day procedure, $23,000 reimbursement, an additional $1,500 in surgeon fee. This is established as we move towards approval. This is established based on the first generation technology. You may have seen a lot of noise in the media. We've signed a contract to bring this technology to China. We've got a great uptake in Europe, and recently Dr. David Almeida in Erie, Pennsylvania did our first surgical case in the Concerto trial, the PMA supplement trial, piggybacking off of our PMA approval of the WA-IMT device. Aura is our partner for the clinical trial. You see that here, and be happy to talk about this with you. I've zeroed out on my time, but I'll be happy to talk about our clinical milestones as well. But I just want to say one thing: as the company is funded by a dedicated partner, has talented people working every day to bring patients vision and freedom back, and we're moving fast with regulatory approvals in almost every geography around the world, and a clear launch plan everywhere we go. So thank you very much for your time.